Welcome back. A special focus on the show tonight. Is the company that created ChatGPT set to go bankrupt? And well, what are going to be its ramifications for the world of artificial intelligence? What does the market look like? We'll try and decode all of that for you. But first, let's take a look at this report that talks about the threats of bankruptcy as far as OpenAI is concerned. Well, even though ChatGPT took the world by storm and became a huge talking point, running it is a big challenge. Sakshi Bajaj gets us the details from a study that suggests OpenAI is on the brink of a potential financial crisis.
Believe it or not, the company that created ChatGPT may go bankrupt. At a time when mind-blowing AI tools are the hot topic, this AI company may be burning cash quite literally. As per a latest study, OpenAI, the AI studio by Sam Altman, might be on the brink of a potential financial crisis. Analytics India magazine's report says OpenAI may go bankrupt as early as the end of 2024. Interesting to note here that it costs OpenAI about rupees 5.8 crore every day to run just one of the AI services, which is ChatGPT. And despite attempts to monetize ChatGPT, the company is not being able to generate enough revenue to break even at this point. Remember, ChatGPT became the fastest growing app in history after its launch in November 2022. However, after the initial influx of users, the company is seeing a gradual decline in users over recent months. In fact, by July end, the user base of ChatGPT dropped even further. July 2023 witnessed a 12% reduction in the user base compared to June, sliding to 1.5 billion users versus 1.7 billion users just a month earlier. Now, as per this study, API cannibalization is part of the problem. What's that, if you're wondering? Well, as per tech experts, that means most of the companies which were earlier prohibiting their employees from using ChatGPT for work are now allowing them to use the API to leverage the large language model, LLM in other words, in different workflows. Microsoft's $10 billion investment is perhaps the only reason OpenAI is afloat at the moment. The company expects to hit $1 billion annual revenue in 2024, which at the moment seems to be a long shot since losses are only mounting. NDTV spoke to AI and tech experts as well, who admit the financial situation remains grim, but also remain optimistic on the future of AI altogether. Sakshi Bajaj for NDTV.
So, well, as global leaders bat for artificial intelligence, what does this bankruptcy as far as OpenAI is concerned really means? Joining me on the show tonight, Ankush Sabharwal, founder and CEO of Core Rover, an AI and tech expert, somebody who's worked closely with the government as well on artificial intelligence. Also with me, Alok Dheer, an insolvency and bankruptcy law expert, who will really take us through what companies stand to learn as far as OpenAI and its bankruptcy threats are concerned. Going across to you first, Ankush, how do you look at OpenAI's, OpenAI being on the brink of bankruptcy and OpenAI being on the brink of a financial crisis? Many point out that, as far as the AI market is concerned, something which is still fairly new and unexplored, does OpenAI's bid to monopolize the market really backfired? What do you make of this entire situation?
Yeah, so thank you, Vedanta, for having me here. So, you see, I think it's expected, as the report said, around $700,000 daily expense, around 580 crore daily expense. And so why this expense is happening, if you see, the expense is happening because there is a usage, right? So most of the expense is the infra expense. So the good thing is, it is a usage base, right? So there probably would have not been any expense if there is no use. The good thing is use is there. So now how to make money, that's a big thing probably for OpenAI to figure that out. And I think the whole industry, I think the whole world is using OpenAI is trying to figure out the use cases. There are a lot of challenges. In fact, I think I'm glad in India we have this now digital data protection bill. So it says the data has to be there in the country of the origin.
And the point you were
the
making
chat.
about costs, that's also a significant point. And Alok Dheer, come in on this because you see, many have pointed out that investors who have invested in such companies are very apprehensive about the kind of daily costs, the enormous daily costs that go into running a company like OpenAI. You know, running an AI company really is a different ballgame altogether. So what do Indian companies, for instance, who look to operate in this particular space, stand to learn from the business model adopted by OpenAI, or something that perhaps they should unlearn from this experience?
Yeah, thank you, Vedanta, for having me on this show. Vedanta, insofar as ChatGPT is concerned, it is one of the earliest chatbots on the which was launched as way back as 22 November, December. So whenever any investor is coming in, and as you are aware, insofar as OpenAI is concerned, who launched this, Sam Altman, Elon Musk, Microsoft, all of them have been there. And they are investors who understand the space exceedingly well. Microsoft put in as much as $10 billion behind this. Now, all of these are going to guzzle money to start with. Besides the operational cost that is there, the developmental cost is also a substantial amount. So any investor who is going to start this is going to start in a very competitive environment. As you are aware, Google has also announced a chat box. Max has also set up now what he's calling as XAI.
Yes.
Mark Zuckerberg has set up Meta. They have set up Llama chat box. And they have collaborated with Microsoft as well. So anybody who is coming into the chat box at this stage is going to deal with competition from, I would say, the biggest entities in the world. And it's not going to be easy if any entity in India is wanting to come back into this
competition is a very important point you're making, because with rising competition, we saw that the traffic or the user base of ChatGPT started to decline. Ankush, come in on this point as well. What do you think were the reasons behind the user base of ChatGPT falling? Do you think it was initially sort of a bit gimmicky and there was a lot of buzz around it, but later with more awareness, and some have pointed out that with ChatGPT's own interface program, many got the opportunity to build their own AI bots. So what really, according to you, were the reasons behind the falling user base of ChatGPT?
Oh, absolutely right. So when the new technology comes, and there is always a hype and the reality, and everyone tried to use this technology, and of course there was a bump in the usage, and now people are trying to figure that out, when to use this and when not to use this. So when it was launched, it was about you ask any question and it would answer, but unfortunately this is not an answering machine.
Yes.
It gives many a time wrong answer, and I think it's now more than 6-7 months, and still they have the data till September 2021. But still, there are use cases.
And also, it's also interesting to see that it's still not been able to become profitable. What is the reason behind that? And Alok Dheer, you would be the right person to answer that question. How do companies operating in the AI space strive towards profitability?
Okay, just before I start with that, Vedanta, just to mention two more things which have perhaps led to the situation.
Yes.
One is in the workplaces, there has been prohibition for use of the ChatGPT by the employees. That is one reason why there has been a fall in the users. The second is, by using the ChatGPT's API itself, people are coming with their own LLMs.
Absolutely.
So that is another aspect which has, in a sense, reduced the operational revenue of ChatGPT. Having said that, the monetization of the product is an extremely important aspect,
right,
which will take its own time, because once you have ChatGPT, obviously you start it off as a freebie, so to speak.
Yes.
And when people get used to it, that's where the point of time when you start monetizing it. But there is always a time lag between putting in a new technology like this into the arena and then start monetizing it.
And given the
problem
fact
seems
that it's
to
a
have
fairly
occurred.
new space to operate in, sometimes startups and companies do have to take a leap of faith. Very interesting to, will be to see how this actually pans out. But thanks so much, gentlemen, for joining us on this very fascinating topic, so to speak. So OpenAI's financial crisis and what it really means for the world of artificial intelligence. We'll take a short break now. News and updates continue on the other side.